Hello and welcome to my latest weekly property news from Madison's. Well, I did record a vlog last week on the spring statement, but my sound didn't work. So you didn't get that. And I had to release one that I was planning to release for this week because I was away yesterday. So today is Wednesday. I normally record my vlog on a Tuesday. So yeah, I'd done one in advance. Done two last week. But anyway, so here we are. So the spring statement, let's just have a quick review of that. I'll try and remember what I said last week. I mean, basically, it was very lackluster, really. If you think about that hype around the autumn budget, which really put a whole brake on the housing market system because there was talk of wealth taxes, which we did see to a degree, but at the level they are, they genuinely haven't affected the market at all. Also talking about capital gains tax on your principal private residence. That really shook the market up. Talk about stamp duty reforms, etc. Capital gains tax in other areas. So yes, it was a very, very uncertain time last autumn. But this spring, I mean, did you even notice it happened? It was called the spring statement, which I think sent a very different tone, that there would not be any changes. And indeed, the Chancellor has come out and said that she will do her big stuff in the autumn budget, and the spring statement will be more of a health check on how everything's going. And basically the message and the mood of the spring statement was around consistency, stability, the fact that unemployment figures are a little bit higher than they should be, but generally kind of where the government expects it to be. Inflation tipping down to their target, which meant that Bank of England were predicted to do another base rate cut. And generally, the OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, coming out and saying that growth across the economy looks slightly lower than where it should be. But generally, the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, feeling that it was all looking good and very, very successful. The only thing really of any note in the house property market is to do with the new build target, which has dipped down. So because of planning restraints and constrictions and issues around that, a lot of red tape to get through. They're not going to meet their target, but still planning to deliver 300,000 new homes, which is obviously great, which is what you need. That's supply to help the market continue to rally on. So, of course, since then, though, we've had all sorts going on in the global stage, which has meant that many forecasts have had to be changed. So inflation, obviously there's a lot of chatter about oil prices. Wasn't it fascinating in the news yesterday, that tweet that was posted about how an oil tanker had been sort of like escorted through to deliver oil to the Western world. And that was all fake. So the oil price kind of did a bit better. It improved. The price per barrel, I think, dipped below $100 a barrel very fractionally for a little while. And then the minute it was heard that that hadn't actually happened, it spiked back up again. That shows how highly volatile that asset is. And of course, our lovely British media, don't you just love them? Full of the doom and gloom that this will mean for us in terms of rising energy costs, costing more to go on holiday, etc., etc. And that kind of sentiment can give a bit of a shockwave to anybody considering doing a transaction. I think the good thing that we are seeing is we have so many of these black swan events now, as they're called, the things that kind of really ripple the global economy, that we're just getting used to them. And we genuinely have not noticed any difference at all. We had a phenomenal week last week. We agreed a record number of sales for that particular week. I think we stood at about 8. And we are seeing really high demand in our viewings diary. We've got one property which I think will be going to sealed bids. I've got 2 other offers that I'm negotiating today. So generally, I think people are learning to live with these big events going on, learning that the market recovers again. And yes, their energy prices might go up a bit, but does it change the fact that they've had another child, need a bigger house, are getting divorced, can afford a bigger house and want off-road parking or a bigger garden or whatever it might be that tips their boxes. So generally, we're finding the market is proving incredibly resilient during this particular period. My one forecast change would be I was expecting a base rate dip this month, but that will not happen now, I don't think, because of inflation rising. Bank of England will be acting a little bit more cautiously. So I don't think that will happen. And the mortgage market, as a result, is highly volatile. So we see rates changing, but they're changing by just fractions. So yeah, not huge amounts, and still very competitive against what they were back in the high of the summer of 2023. So that's what's going on generally. Spring statement. A little interesting side story that caught my attention this week. about the most expensive roads to live on, according to Rightmove, over the last short period. It's a bit disappointing. So to qualify on this, you had to have data where at least 5 homes were listed for sale. So I can definitely think of some more expensive sales around my area. But the number one was Winnington Road in Barnet, which achieved an average price of £12,538,000. Wow. The most expensive sale outside of London was Elmbridge in Surrey, which was 8,795,000. In fact, that was the only external from London road that got into the top 20. Looking further afield, Scotland in Edinburgh, Drumsborough Gardens, 560,000 average. Stuff can go for a lot more in Edinburgh. I think that was just a fluke of not many stuff going to market. Hollybush Road in Cardiff at 1.237 million. And close to home here, our biggest one was just outside East Grinstead, Copthorne Common, which achieved just over 2 million, 2.08 million. Like I say, there are more expensive roads. And in fact, that leads me on nicely to my article that I've just written for the business. Do look out for it. It'll be out soon. It's all about the most expensive roads to live in Tunbridge Wells over the last 12 months. So we all know about those really great addresses like Neville Park, Hungershaw Park, Camden Park, Calverley Park, Warwick Park, all those really, really great addresses. But looking at the actual sold data, which ones did best and what were the prices they achieved. Do look out for the business. That'll be out very soon. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.